Morning light falls across the AURELIS house office desk. Jihan smiles and says both success paths are now moving at the same time. Two official notices lie side by side, one from the Adventurer Guild and one from the Merchant Guild. The first announces Jihan's early iron rank evaluation. The second confirms that Lumasilk demand has doubled across Varun. Miral studies the notices with a serious expression. Jihan decides to prepare for the evaluation and business defense together. She says success is useful, but rising too fast makes enemies act faster. Ria agrees and reminds Jihan that Tovan was only the first knife. Sara peeks through the office window and reports strangers watching the street. Jihan gathers Miral, Ria, Leora, Sora, Old Hask, and Nella inside the office. AURELIS House begins operating like a real battle formation. He assigns Miral to supervise the ledger and customer orders. Ria will protect the office, while Sora carries urgent messages between guilds. Leora will monitor product safety so no one can repeat the fake poison trick. Clara arrives with two merchant guild clerks carrying sealed order folders. Miral quietly adds Iona to the office visitor log. She says Master Orlan has placed official guild witnesses near Lumasilk storage. Iona Crest follows behind, holding a small etiquette notebook. She says Orlan also wants her to learn crisis management from AURELIS House. Jihan arrives at the Adventurer Guild wearing his copper rank badge. Arya calls Jihan to the evaluation desk. The hall becomes quiet faster than usual. Rumors about the Bloodtusk Boar, the Closed Eye Spy, and Lumasilk have already spread. Rod watches from a corner table with dark jealousy in his eyes. An older adventurer with a gray beard and one missing eye stands beside Arya. Jihan replies that monsters usually do not check faces before dying. Arya introduces him as Master Harlan Rowe, senior examiner of the Varun Adventurer Guild. Harlan's armor is old, scarred, and covered with marks from many monster battles. He looks at Jihan and says pretty faces do not impress monsters. Harlan explains that early iron rank evaluation has 3 parts. Harlan warns that failing by arrogance will delay Jihan's promotion for months. First is combat control. Second is field judgment. Third is a supervised monster suppression quest outside the city. A quiet young swordsman steps into the evaluation hall. The first test begins. He has dark blue hair, narrow eyes, and a clean iron rank badge. Harlan introduces him as Kale Voss, Jihan's combat test opponent. Kale bows politely, but his gaze is sharp and unreadable. Jihan and Kale stand inside a marked sparring circle. Jihan blocks and immediately feels the difference between street fighters and trained guild swordsmen. They both use practice swords, but the tension feels real. Harlan says the goal is not victory, but control, awareness, and restraint. Kale attacks first with clean, disciplined movement. Kale's strikes are not flashy, but every movement controls space. Harlan narrows his one eye with interest. He forces Jihan backward step by step. Jihan reads the rhythm and adjusts his footwork. The watching adventurers grow silent as the duel becomes technical. Jihan stops trying to overpower Kale. Harlan raises his hand and stops the duel. He uses smaller movements, redirecting strikes instead of blocking fully. Kale notices the adaptation and increases the speed. Jihan matches the timing just enough to survive without losing control. Kale lowers his practice sword and gives Jihan a respectful nod. The field judgment test begins immediately. Harlan says Jihan lacks formal polish, but his learning speed is abnormal. Rod clicks his tongue from the crowd. Arya marks the first test as passed. Jihan is brought to a table covered with maps, tokens, monster markers, and caravan models. Harlan starts the timer. Harlan presents several emergency scenarios. A caravan trapped by wolves, a missing child near ruins, a wounded teammate, and a possible ambush route. Jihan must decide priority, risk, and retreat timing. Jihan studies the map like a supply chain problem. Jihan passes the second test with unusual clarity. He identifies safe zones, choke points, water access, visibility, and likely monster movement. He refuses one heroic-looking option because it risks more lives for no gain. Harlan smiles faintly at the practical answer. The final test is announced as a monster suppression quest near Windfall Orchard. Rod quietly leaves the guild before the group departs. The orchard has been attacked by level 4 horned jackals. Kale and Harlan will supervise, while Jihan performs the main suppression. Arya records the mission as official Iron Rank evaluation material. In a side alley, Rod meets a hooded closed-eye agent. Rod accepts a small packet of monster bait with shaking hands. The agent says Jihan's evaluation route is easy to modify. Rod hesitates, sweating as jealousy fights common sense. The agent offers him a promotion opportunity if Jihan fails publicly. Jihan, Harlan, Kale, and 2 guild assistants leave Varun by the western gate. Harlan gives no praise, but his expression approves. The road passes wheat fields, low hills, and fruit farms. Harlan asks Jihan what he notices first. Jihan says the birds are too quiet near the orchard. Windfall Orchard is filled with rows of pale apple trees and broken fences. Tressa says the monster attacks became worse overnight. A farmer named Master Tressa Ven waits nervously near the gate. She introduces herself as Lyra Ven's aunt and owner of the orchard. Jihan recognizes the Ven family name and becomes more attentive. Jihan kneels beside claw marks near the fence. The evaluation has been tampered with. The marks match horned jackals, but the movement pattern is too aggressive. A bitter smell lingers near the soil. Jihan recognizes it from Celine's lesson, Monster Bait. Jihan quietly informs Harlan about the monster bait. A howl echoes from the tree rows. Harlan's face becomes grim. He says the test will continue, but now the priority is protecting civilians and identifying interference. Kale draws his sword and moves closer to the orchard workers. Several level 4 horned jackals rush from between the trees. More howls answer from deeper in the orchard. Their eyes are red from artificial aggression. Jihan moves first, placing himself between the monsters and the workers. He defeats the first jackal with a clean downward strike. The number of jackals grows from 6 to 12. He chooses a third option, controlled victory. Then nearly 20. Harlan curses because this is far beyond a normal Iron Rank test. Jihan realizes the goal is to make him either fail, flee, or expose his hidden portal power publicly. Jihan asks Tressa to move all workers into the storage barn. Jihan says good plans do not wait for rank. He tells Kale to guard the barn entrance. He asks Harlan to observe the north fence where the bait smell is strongest. Harlan laughs and asks if the examinee is giving orders now. Jihan breaks a wooden fence section and creates a narrow opening between 2 tree rows. His efficiency shocks the guild assistants. The jackals are forced to rush through one path. Kale watches as Jihan turns the orchard layout into a controlled battlefield. One by one, Jihan cuts down monsters entering the choke point. Harlan spots movement near the north fence. The hood falls back, revealing Rod. A small hooded figure is scattering more monster bait powder. The figure sees Harlan and tries to run. Harlan throws a blunt dagger that knocks the bait packet from the figure's hand. Rod freezes, pale and terrified. A deeper roar interrupts them. Harlan's one eye burns with anger. Rod stammers that he only wanted to scare Jihan, not endanger workers. Harlan says monster bait does not care about excuses. The remaining jackals scatter as a larger monster steps from the orchard shadows. The real danger has arrived. A red label appears, level 9 Razorhorn Alpha. Its body is scarred, its horn curved like a blade, and its eyes glow with bait-induced rage. Even Kale tightens his grip. A traveling healer named Brother Kale emerges from the storage barn. Jihan decides he cannot drag the fight out. He was visiting the orchard to treat injured workers before the attack began. He raises a protection prayer over the civilians. The barrier flickers weakly but gives them precious time. Jihan considers using Infinite Space Portal fully. The Razorhorn Alpha charges. But too many witnesses are present. Instead, he forms tiny hidden portals near his hands and feet, disguised as quick movement. His mana drains slowly but remains manageable. The Alpha's first charge tears through 3 trees. For the first time, Jihan and Kale fight together. Jihan uses a small portal shift to move his foot just outside the attack line. He cuts across the monster's flank but barely pierces the hide. Kale joins from the side, striking the creature's rear leg. Kale holds the Alpha's attention with precise defensive swordwork. The Alpha prepares a final horn charge toward the barn. Jihan attacks weak points created by Kale's positioning. Brother Kale keeps the civilian barrier alive despite sweating heavily. Harlan watches both the battle and Rod with cold authority. Jihan sees the monster's target and reacts instantly. Jihan retrieves his sword and delivers the finishing strike. He throws his sword through a tiny portal angle, changing the blade's path mid-air. The sword strikes the Alpha's eye and breaks its charge direction. Kale drives his blade into the exposed neck from the side. The Razorhorn Alpha collapses and dissolves into a large mana stone. Harlan declares Jihan has passed the Iron Rank evaluation. The orchard grows silent except for the frightened breathing of workers. Harlan walks toward Jihan slowly. He says the test became a sabotage incident, but Jihan protected civilians, adapted under pressure, and cooperated well. Rod is restrained by the guild assistants. Rod is taken back to Veyron for guild punishment and interrogation. He cries that the closed-eye agent tricked him. Harlan says jealousy opened the door, but Rod walked through it himself. Jihan looks at Rod without anger, only disappointment. At the Adventurer Guild that evening, Arya removes Jihan's copper rank badge. Jihan officially becomes an Iron Rank adventurer. She replaces it with a dark iron badge stamped with the guild emblem. The guild hall erupts into whispers as Jihan becomes Iron Rank faster than anyone expected. Kale quietly congratulates him and says they should spar again someday. While the guild celebrates, Sora rushes into the hall out of breath. In a noble carriage outside Veyron, Lord Varric smiles and says, "Now let us see if the boy can fight paperwork." She tells Jihan that AURELIS House received a massive order from Baroness Evelyn's luxury inns. Before Jihan can smile, a